Hey, what's going on, guys? Just sitting in the truck, reminiscing. So I think it's time for another Air Force story. Tomorrow I'll be doing I got everything set up in the garage, with the exception of the welder. All I got to do is put the tank on. Hopefully there's gas left in the tank. If there's no gas left in the tank, it'll be okay. I don't know whether or not you guys really need to see, the welds that are going to go on it. So, that is going to be all set up, and I will be doing the door skin video tomorrow. I don't foresee that to be taking a long time, but I never know. It's probably going to be a long video. I'm charging the batteries for my camera. Like I said, this camera for some reason does not have a pause, so I can't pause it. So the video is probably going to be very long. Doesn't bother me if you skip through the video at certain points, but we're going to get that video going. It'll be all set and ready to go tomorrow. Hopefully I can get that uploaded and out to you guys on Saturday, so it might be Saturday night when it comes in or goes in, or it'll be Sunday, early morning Sunday. So let's go to basic military training. So we leave Cleveland MEPS, fly out of Cleveland, head down to San Antonio. That was my very first time on an airplane. Makes sense. Joined the Air Force, and I do not like to fly. I don't get anxiety when I fly. I don't flip out or anything like that. I'm just the type of person that if I don't have to fly, I won't do it. I like to keep my feet on the ground. Although when I did work at Burke Lakefront Airport up in Cleveland, I did get to go on a maintenance flight in a helicopter, the smaller one, not the bigger one, and I thought that was freaking sweet. That was so cool. I don't know why. I think it was probably because that if there's any problems with a helicopter, you could basically kind of land a helicopter anywhere. A little bit harder for a plane. But so we're going to San Antonio. So we land, get on a bus. You get on a bus, and I believe there was somebody on the bus with us. So you have to be quiet and all this other crap. So we end up getting, I think we end up going to, or were we in the airport? I think we were in the airport, and we actually had to sit down on the damn ground, and we had to be quiet. And then they loaded us up on a bus. Then we headed down to Lackland Air Force Base, and we did this during the day. No, I'm sorry. I flew during the day. We didn't get into San Antonio until late that night, so I didn't get to see what the base looked like when we first came in. Had no idea where I was. Still pretty neat, though. So we get in there. Wake up the next morning. They want us all to stand by our lockers. So we stand by our lockers. We're all in our civilian clothes. They stand by our lockers. They tell us, before I get to that, my father was in the Air Force, and he told me, he said, when you go there, he said, if you mess up and they ask you questions, He said, every answer that you give is going to be wrong. Makes sense? They just really want to yell at you. So, and my recruiter told me, every time you open your mouth, it's going to be your reporting statement. So make sure you memorize your reporting statement. And I still remember it to this day. Sir, Airman Schroeder reports as ordered. You have to say that every time you speak. Before you speak. So, we're in there, sitting on my standing by my locker. The TIs, I think there's 4 or 5 of them. You got a couple master sergeants, a couple techs, and a staff. And they're on the other side. You know, the dorm was basically kind of split in the middle in a way, but you could access both sides. So, but you couldn't see because there was a wall. So they were on the other side, but you could still hear them. So they're freaking laying into people. The first thing they want us to do is empty our wallets. And they say, empty everything out of your wallets. Put all of the money that you have in your, I believe it was your left hand. Okay, you're done. Get back to your freaking thing. So I hadn't even got my damn wallet out yet, and they're already telling me, hey, you're done. You can't freaking, I don't want to see any of this shit. So I'm like, alright, so I basically just dumped my wallet on my bed. Didn't have time to put what little cash I had. I can't even remember how much I had. It was probably like $7. Didn't even have it in my hand. I heard them. I knew I had to do it, but I was following orders. Somewhat. So here's the other thing. When I was 16, 17 years old, everybody that's ever been into a mall, and for you young guys, I don't know whether or not you guys know what a mall is, but but when we went into the mall, you'd go into the store called Spencer's. Spencer's would have a whole bunch of gag gifts and things like that. I liked the store. It was pretty funny. So I see this card in there. It's a card that basically says, on the front of it, it said, certified sex instructor. On the back of it, it said, and then you put your name in, I'm a certified sex instructor, and your first lesson is free. Sure as shit, man. Even when I laid that wallet down, you know, and after hearing all the TIs go through everybody's wallets, they were reading everything. They were looking at everything. So some of these dudes that had rubbers in their freaking wallet and stuff like that, man, oh man, they were freaking ripping into them. Oh, you're not going to be able to use that. Oh boy. So they finally get to me. They look down at my wallet. Obviously, I mean, the cash is still not in my hand, but they look down at my wallet. They see that certified sex instructor card. I hear one of the TIs basically go by, and he's like, well, what do you know? We got ourselves a certified sex instructor in here. I'm like, oh, shit. And I know I'm going to get freaking heat, and I know I'm going to get blasted. That wasn't the thing that I got blasted for. I got blasted for freaking not putting my money in my left hand. So one of the TIs, I believe it was one of the master sergeants. He was either a master sergeant or he was the senior master sergeant. I can't remember. I know he was up there at the time, though. So he looks at me and he says, Airman, why didn't you put your money in your left hand like we instructed you to? So I'm sitting there thinking in my head, I'm like, well, if I give him this answer, Sir, Airman Schroeder reports as ordered, sir, I didn't have enough time to put it in my left hand, that wouldn't have been good. So I'm sitting there, I'm just dead set at trying to think, what am I going to answer? How am I going to answer this guy? Because any answer I give is going to be the wrong one. So sure as shit, I mean, I'm still paused. I can't think of an answer that's going to be good enough to where these guys will just, you know, go on their merry way and start freaking, you know, yelling and screaming at the next guy. Next thing you know, this dude freaking clenches his fist and throws a freaking punch right on the side of my face. I felt this dude's breeze. I felt his his fists breeze scrape across my face. It didn't touch me, but I just felt it, just boom, and it hits my freaking locker behind me. And he just, answer me! The first thing that I could come up with, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to tell this dude, sir, I guess it's because I was stupid, sir. He looked at me, he said, you're not going to make it past here! And they actually left. All of them just went and moseyed on to the next person. The only thing I can think of is why they did that was A, they weren't expecting that type of answer, and none of them could actually freaking, you know, route me or anything like that, because they were probably laughing their ass off on the inside and probably wouldn't be able to control, you know, yelling at me and shit. Oh man. Or it was because I didn't flinch. When he threw that freaking fist up, I didn't freaking go like that. I didn't jump. Anything like that. I just straight out, I didn't move, and his fist went over there. I'm like, oh. So, that was my first day. My first day, TI basically literally telling me, yeah, you're not going to survive. That wasn't true. I basically, you know, I ended up getting a letter from one of my I wouldn't say one of my girlfriends, because I really only had one. I ended up getting a letter from her, and one of my TIs was looking at it, and he was passing out mail, and he's like, we've got a Chris Schroeder, an Airman Schroeder in here? Yeah, dude, you've been my TI for the past 4 weeks. Basically, the whole idea was just keep low. Shut your mouth, keep low, don't do anything. But that night, I mean, after they left, I turned around and I looked at my locker, and there was a freaking dent in it. I was like, damn. Every time I tell that story and I tell everybody exactly what I said, people just start freaking laughing. And it worked. That answer worked. It's because I was stupid, sir. Oh my God, I love it. But I mean, we actually had, at least I think we actually had some really good TIs. We had one guy that was an SP. He wasn't an asshole, surprisingly enough. I can't remember what the AFCs were for the other two guys, but we had that staff sergeant was actually pretty cool. The tech sergeant, Sergeant Smith, that dude was freaking cool. That guy was awesome. The only time that guy would he did tend to lay into people that were more like, if you were the, God, I can't even remember what not the squadron leader, if you were You know, because when they would line us, when the way that we were sleeping, basically the person, you know, which was, you know, the way that we were sleeping was basically how we marched. Element leader, that's what it was. If you were an element leader and somebody on your element got freaking didn't do something right, or they caught something, man, they would just freaking, he would, I mean, he wouldn't freaking like really kind of rout you, but he would, I mean, he would he'd let you know that you messed up. And even if you weren't an element leader, he would still let you know that you messed up, but he would hold more over the element leader. And man, it was probably about in our 5th week, dude. He laid into this one element leader because somebody in the element didn't do something right or something like that, and he just freaking, he got this dude freaking crying. And that was basically the first time I've ever seen anybody cry getting yelled at. You know, because I mean, to tell the truth, I was actually more scared of my father than I was at any of those guys. Number one, because, you know, my father has hit me before, so, and I knew these guys couldn't. And I also knew that if they did, they were going to get hit back. So, but, you know, we had Sergeant Smith, Sergeant Escobar. That dude was freaking pretty cool. I think Sergeant Escobar was a crew chief. He was pretty cool. But we did have this little freaking sergeant. I can't remember his name. I'm glad I don't remember his name, because if I ever see that freaking little punk again, I'd probably slug his ass. He was just an all-out and around freaking prick. The TIs that were actually the worst were the senior airmen getting ready to put on staff. For the life of me, I don't even know why you would even bring a senior airman to be a TI. I don't know. I wouldn't. But, you know, it is what it is. And the women TIs were pretty bad. You didn't want to get snagged by freaking a woman TI. She would lay into you. And it's not that she wouldn't lay into the females either. She would, at least the female TI that was around, you know, our squadron, man, she was freaking something else. But, you know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, but that's BMTM, basic military training. Very first day. Yeah, wasn't too bad. Can't complain. But, alright guys. Hope you enjoyed this little, I don't know how long it would be. How long this is, it doesn't tell me. But hope you guys have a good one. Have a good Friday. And hopefully tomorrow or Sunday the Dorskin video will be put up. Alright? Take it easy, guys. Peace.